This video is brought to you by Robinhood, the free and easy to use investment and trading brokerage. Robinhood allows you to trade and buy stocks, ETFs, bonds, and cryptocurrencies completely free. Also, if you download using the link in the description below, you'll get one free stock valued up to $200 just for signing up. No, you don't have to deposit a dime, and you could become instantly a part owner in companies like Microsoft, Walmart, McDonald's, or Disney just by getting lucky. So download Robinhood today and start taking advantage of this historic 2020 stock market crash. No, that's not my full portfolio. You guys aren't ready for that just yet. What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Got a couple of quick duels for you guys to check out. First duel is going to be Battle of Control decks. We have El Dorado at the bottom, and I feel like I've seen people try just about everything with this deck. You got pure El Dorado builds, which I personally think are the best. I've seen zombie builds because obviously, like, Eldlik the Golden Lord is the only monster in the archetype, not including like the trap monsters, so it's kind of easy to incorporate him into that mix, and you know, everything's zombie. I've also seen some other builds. This one is one of the wackier builds you'll see. I'm not gonna spoil it and tell you what it's about, but yeah, it definitely seems like a very strong deck. I would personally play like the pure version if I was gonna play it. Anyways, we got Cyframes at the top, another super control deck. Interesting, we saw OCG variants running Lava Golem in you know, the El Dorado deck, but looks like both players might be running Lava Golem here. Lava Golem, of course, very strong if you do not need your normal summon at breaking those boards. Now, the you know, the El Dorado player starts by not really doing much. This is a play I used to love when I was playing Cyframe. So if you can discard, like if you get one of your Cyframe monsters in the graveyard, specifically one of the level ones, usually this is done with Cynet mining, then you can summon your Cyberse Gadget, which of course you search off the mining, and you can kind of go into a nice little combo. You get yourself a Link Disciple, then you usually go for Link Bumper. You get the draw card, you get tokens on the field. You can even technically make a Formula Synchron because Cyframe Beta is a tuner monster. So yeah, you can even make Formula Synchron, but generally you can potentially draw like 2 cards. Anyways, he's going to put the Lava Golem back in his deck because he doesn't need that. You can also make obviously like Lambda and stuff like that, which he is ultimately going to make. I believe he is going to send Cyframe Overload to the graveyard. Probably want to activate it during the opponent's turn, depending on what they're trying to do, if you need a Gamma or whatever. He's going to get Epsilon. This is the trap stopper because he probably is like, he's like, Cap, this guy has 3 back row. Probably one of them is a trap. Unfortunately, he actually needed Gamma because he's going to lose Lambda. If he had Gamma, he probably just would have won. He would have stopped Eldlik and been in good position. Anyways, Linkuriboh is going to stop, or it's going to block the attack. He's going to set that copy of Overload that he drew, and I don't think it is going to resolve. Overload is so good in this match. It's insane how good it is in this matchup, because if you really think about it, Eldlik only plays like 1 main deck monster. If you just overload the 3 copies of the Golden Lord, they basically can't win. It's very similar to like what's the deck I'm thinking of? Sky Striker. Imagine if your opponent just didn't have any Rays in their deck. Okay, all those extra deck monsters don't mean anything at that point. Anyways, he is going to activate the that's the Golden Land Forever. That's the counter trap that doesn't allow the Overload to resolve, but at least he gets to banish it from the graveyard and get himself a search. He's going to use Beta to block one of those attacks. No sense in taking those attacks to the face. And yeah, this is what I meant by this is a weird unconventional build. He's playing Invoked. I mean, I guess people just think, hey, if the deck don't have normal summons, Invoked is the way to go. I would probably play Lava Golem, but that's just me. Anyways, he is going to, of course, use some of those El Dorado trap cards to get more trap cards, and he finally was able to get Cyframe Circuit on field. This means that he can now play Yu-Gi-Oh! During his opponent's turn. He might take this alpha after searching. This might turn into a Black Rose Dragon. Not bad, because the opponent does have some cards on the field. I don't think it's going to ultimately blow up the field, unfortunately. So it was a good idea, but didn't completely blow up the field. Anyways, he is going to Gamma the second Eldlik, or the Eldlik Golden Lord, and now he's on board because he basically was able to get Omega, snipe the invocation, which technically was dead out of his opponent's hand, and check this out, he has another copy of Cyberse Gadget, but it's going to be met with impermanence. I don't think it's going to be that bad because he does have that Psychic Field Path or Psychic Field Zone in his hand, and now he's able to just go into his copy of Zeta, turn that into a Lambda, and then probably add a different card back to his hand with the effect of Zeta. So let's see what he's going to do. Yeah, he's going to, put Zeta back in his hand and also get another copy of Alpha, and now it looks like he's in control. Now look, the Eldorado deck's not out of this. Obviously, it can still recover, but it's not in a good position. We'll see what happens here. Anyways, he is going to summon his Eldlik the Golden Lord. That's why you want to just get rid of that card permanently. And I think when he tries to activate the effect again, oh no, he's going to get Gambit again. Getting Gambit when you activate Eldlik Golden Lord's effect does not feel good, especially when your opponent's able to turn that into a Borreload Savage Dragon during your turn. And now they turn that negation into even more negation. He's going to try to go in the battle phase and run over the Lambda, but that's when Psyframe Circuit is going to kick in. He's going to discard a card out of his hand. Looks like he's gaining 1500 attack. I did not know Epsilon was 1500. You don't usually think of good stats when it comes to these Psyframe monsters, but yeah, Epsilon actually somehow is a beater. He's going to set a couple of cards, and he's going to get that last overload, and that is enough for his opponent to scoop. I mean, eventually, to me, it seemed like eventually he was going to get Overload on board, and Overload was just going to start banishing some cards. And as I said before, if you end up banishing all 3 copies of Eldlik the Golden Lord, there's probably no chance for them to win. I just think this card, I think Overload is just like nuts in the matchup, because if they negate it, then you still get the search from it, and if they don't, it can probably win you the duel, because even your dead Psyframe cards can take out their most critical cards and basically their win conditions, and they only have like 1 card that can actually stop it, unless they're playing like Solemn Judgment. Even the whole skill drain aspect doesn't even matter when you could just take out the skill drain or take out the monsters, rendering the skill drain useless. So, don't sleep on this deck. It definitely has some plays that are noteworthy. Anyways, second duel is going to be much quicker because I don't have to explain the cards. Don't nobody know what Plunder Patrol does except the fanatics. Second duel is going to be a Blue Eyes build. Unfortunately, this Blue Eyes build revolves around Guard Dragons. That is not the way. The Invoke build that I showed off, that is definitely the way. You guys know that really a lot of the Guard Dragon decks revolve around Red Eyes, and how many damn times you can use that card in a turn, because we still have LP, which they don't have in the OCG, and we have an unerrated version of Red Eyes, which they also don't have in the OCG. So Guard Dragons are totally still a legitimate strategy in the TCG. Whether you want to use Blue Eyes or Red Eyes or Dragon Maids, it's all pretty much good. Now, he is using Ultimate Tzolk'in. I don't ever think you should summon that card in attack mode. That's just my opinion. I mean, if you're going to link away it, that's fine. I thought that was a high-risk play. He went for Saryuja, and luckily he drew into like Monster Reborn. Otherwise, that would have been a pretty crappy play. But this isn't the, I mean, it's a pretty decent board. It has 3 disruptions. You can stop an attack with Titanic. You can also summon another monster from Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spear. So I guess it's actually pretty good. But his opponent, it's got the Kaiju and the Slumber. So he had both of them things. And that obviously is going to break his opponent's board. It would be really bad if he drew into the Golden Castle of Stromberg off of that trade-in, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen because obviously I've seen this duel. Well, no, he drew into the next best thing. He drew into Terraforming, so it's the same exact thing. And he's going to be able to bring out the Iron Hans, which brings out the Iron Knight. Now he can make a rank 8 and a rank 4, and you guys know about number 97. It summons number 100, and that card usually just wrecks you, the Numeron Dragon, but he's going to wreck him even harder. Forget about 13,000 attack. Cap, this is what it means to go further beyond. Shout outs to all the Dragon Ball fans who know that reference. He's gonna go ahead, 26,000 attack. His opponent says, I don't even want my body to feel that damage. I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop it up. Anyways, let's go ahead and look at one of the golden decks that were used in those duels. I mean, well, we saw the Eldorado deck get mopped, and yeah, this deck has a lot of gold in it. You can see the Golden Castle of Stromberg, and then all the gold coming out of the slot machine from Double or Nothing, and then Numeron Dragon, he's pretty golden. So I showed this deck off in another video, but for those of you guys who ultimately ended up missing that, you can see that this monster lineup is super stacked. I mean, there are so many damn level 8s and dangers in this deck and kaijus that you basically have to run 3 trade-ins and 3 avarices. You also have 3 copies, desires. You also have 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. I mean, this thing is just loaded. You're looking to draw cards, draw even more cards, and then basically one-shot your opponent with Utopia Double or Numeron Dragon. I mean, even theoretically, this deck can just beat your opponent down. We've seen the Gren Maju decks just kind of go second, and even without Gren Maju, they've been able to just put a bunch of damage on board, considering in certain situations, Hextrude can attack twice, and you got these big danger monsters and kaijus and stuff like that. This is essentially that type of deck, you know, the Blind Go Second or the Golden Castle Gren Maju. You're just not running Gren Maju, you're just doing some other plays. Interesting to see Monster Reborn in here, but I guess it's because so many of these cards, like the Dangers and the Kaijus, are ran in multiples, even Gizmak Orochi, that these are excellent targets for Monster Reborn. Anyways, if you guys are interested in this deck, of course, it will be in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on that notification bell for daily videos.